Tube. Now, I've been kicked off of TikTok. The muzzies kicked me off there eventually. Just kept complaining. TikTok gave me 6, 7 warnings and then finally banned me for good. So yeah, that's it. TikTok's finished now for me. So I need YouTube. Please, peep, get me subscribers for YouTube. It's been very slow so far. I've only had like 2 in the past 3 months or so, even though I've put out loads and loads of vids saying please subscribe. No one's subscribing to me. I've found this YouTube studio thingy-mabobbing. Got no idea what that is, but I'm using that now, and so hopefully that'll get me more peeps to subscribe to me so I can go live. I want to go live so I can get muzzies to come up, and so then I can teach them the true dawah about their Quran. Like for instance, how Jesus Christ in the Quran is God. 43:61, he knows the hour in the Quran. 19:19, he's a perfect sinless man. 9:31, he is God. It literally says that in 9:31. You know, I mean, I can teach so much good dawah to the muzzies. They really don't know what, you know, how to handle me, really. There's no way they can handle me, you know. I don't know Arabico. I don't want to know Arabico. I don't need to know Arabico. It's quite simple. When I go into a Chinese restaurant, I don't need to speak Chinese, you know, ching chong, in order to order my chicken chow mein. So, you know, you don't need to speak Arabica to work out Mr. Allah and Muhammad are false. And you don't need to speak Arabica to work out that the Quran is completely garbo. You know, 17:1 of the Quran, where it says Muhammad went to the Alaska Mosque. No, he never. There weren't no Alaska Mosque at the time of Muhammad. It weren't built for another 60, 70 years after Muhammad, you know. 7:21 and 12:20 of the Quran, where it says that Joseph was sold for a few coins. No, he wasn't, Mr. Allah. There weren't no coins at the time of Joseph. They didn't appear for another 1,000 years, you dumbo. You know, I mean, so many mistakes like this in the Quran. Mary, the mother of Miriam. No, down below Allah. She wasn't the Miriam, mother Jesus, the sister of Aaron and Moses, and daughter of Al Imran. That was a completely different Mary. Just because you have one Mary, the daughter of Aaron, Al Imran, and the sister of Aaron and Moses, called Mary, 2,000 years later another Mary comes along. Guess what, down below Allah? It don't make them the same person, you down below. They're 2 different people from 2 different times with 2 different families, you down below, Mr. Allah. Now, these are all the things I can teach the muzzies, you know. I mean, so many other things, of course, as well, in the, you know, like the sun setting in a muddy spring before it goes to sleep underneath Mr. Allah's throne. You know, I mean, so totally ridiculous for a God to say that, you know. I mean, he can't even spell God, because Allah is not the Arabic for God. Ilah is the Arabic for God. So, you know, here I am, a non-Arabic speaker who wishes to teach Arabic to Mr. Allah. Please, people, get me the subscribers to come onto YouTube to teach Mr. Allah Arabica from the good old East End of London. You know what I mean, mate? You know what I mean? Yeah, I mean, and as I say, the muzzies just can't deal with me. I mean, I was born arguing. I have been brought up arguing, you know. I mean, I was arguing from day one and I ain't stopped. You know, I've had to argue all my life just because other people wish to argue with more. And so really, you know, you got no choice but to argue back. So I know how to deal with these muzzos, you know. I know how to shut them down. And they really cannot Honestly, they cannot deal with me. They will run away from me. I know that. So yeah, but it will be fun, it will be fun. I'd also like to do some Bible stuff as well, like for instance, obviously, the Matthew's Gospel being the very first Gospel that was written, because a lot of people assume it was Mark, but it wasn't. It was Matthew's Gospel. This is all from the early church fathers' evidence, of course, and there is other evidence as well that you can glean from the Gospels themselves. But as I say, I mean, that's all stuff that I'd like to go into on my YouTube, where we can discuss these things in detailization and go further into depth in these sorts of things, I like, for instance, the book of Hebrews. That was actually written by Paul. Paul actually wrote the book of Hebrews specifically for the Jews in Hebrew. There's two books in the New Testament that was written in Hebrew: the book of Hebrews by Paul and the Gospel of Matthew. He wrote his gospel as well in Hebrew, specifically for the Jews. Both those books were written specifically for the Jews. Paul couldn't go and preach to the Jews. They hated him with a passion. After his conversion, they literally did hate him with a passion, and so he had to stick to really preaching to the Gentiles, because the Jews, as I say, just wouldn't have him any way at all. And so this is why he wrote the book of Hebrews, because he couldn't physically preach to the Jews, but he could write them a book. And this is why no one knows who actually wrote it, because he didn't want the people, especially the Jews, to know he wrote it, because that was the idea of it. He wrote it for them, knowing that if they knew he wrote it, they wouldn't accept it. So he then gave it straight to Luke to translate it straight from the Hebrew to the Greek, and telling Luke, obviously, along, don't actually make it known that I've written this. I don't want the Jews to know I've written this, but it is specifically for the Jews. So yeah, I mean, these are all things I'd like to go into. As I say, when I get a channel up to go live and direct. I mean, at the moment I can just do these videos here, but I'm not going to be sitting here for hours and hours on a video, doing a video and then downloading it, because obviously the longer you do the video, the longer it takes to download. So yeah, I need to go live and direct, folks. I need subscribers for that. Subscribe. I need about another 36 subscribers to go live and direct, mainly, as I say, to teach the true Dawah to the Muzzies, because they ain't got a clue. They haven't got a Scooby-Dooby-Doodah about their book. So quick one for that is Sahih Bukhari 6614, Abu Dawud 4701, that both those say that Allah wrote the Torah himself. He physically wrote the Torah, then gave it to Musa. So the Torah that we have on this planet today, according to the Muzzies, is more Allah's word than any other book, because he wrote it. He wrote it. The Quran wasn't written by him, the Injil wasn't written by him, the Torah was. And then there's confirmation throughout the Quran of the previous scriptures, loads of verses that say that. Al-Baqarah 40 to 44, Al-Baqarah 89, Al-Baqarah 85, loads of them that say the Quran was sent to confirm the previous scriptures. And then there's verses where it says the book they have in their hands, and again those are 3:3, 3:5, and so on. And then there's the verses that say Christians must stand upon and follow their book, or they stand upon nothing. Jews must stand upon and follow their book, or they stand upon nothing. And that's 568, along with many others. But then the most important verses, along with the hadith, of course, and there's also the hadith, Abu Dawud 4, 449, where Muhammad swears an oath on the Torah and says, I believe in you and I believe in the one who sent you. And apart from all these verses, of course, which, as I say, confirm the Bible and confirm the previous scriptures and prove that Allah wrote the Torah himself, is 6115 of the Quran, 1827 of the Quran, 1064 of the Quran. No one can change Allah's words. No one can change Allah's words. And that's literally what it says. It doesn't mention any books or anything. It just says no one can change his words. The Injil is his words. No one can change it. The Zabur is his words. No one can change it. The Torah is his words. And as I've already said, not only is it his words, he physically wrote it, making it definitely his words. No one can change it. As soon as they say it has been changed and someone has changed it, that means someone can change Allah's words, and that means the Quran is also changed then, because that means that can be changed. If you can change one of his words, you can change all of his words. That's the point of it. As soon as you start to say, yes, someone has changed his words, and where it says no one can change his words, that's obviously not right, then that means all of his words have been changed. This is where I really get the Muzzies stuck completely on, the Bible being corrupted. Clearly, the Bible is not corrupted. The Quran confirms the Bible over and over and over. And not only does it confirm the Bible over and over and over, it also confirms that it can never be corrupted. There are more verses that I can use to back this up as well, of course. But yeah, as I say, I need to go live and direct. Please subscribe, like. I don't know, share. Get your friends to subscribe to it as well, so I can get the 50 subscribers that I need to go live and direct. God bless you all. Peace of Christ to you all. Hopefully see you all soon on my live. Bye.